What is going on, members of the J area? We are live and in living color here on a Monday evening following Monday Night Raw. An edition of Monday Night Raw that had a little bit of ups and downs in regards to the build up to Crown Jewel. There was a little bit of good, a little bit of mid, won't lie to you there, but nonetheless, welcoming you to another edition of the J Area Wrestling Show here live. Again, welcoming you, thanking you for choosing to spend your time here with us, hanging out, talking pro wrestling. Of course, the biggest story that I wanted to tackle is the NXT and TNA invasion. It has been something that has been building up over the course of these last several months. We've seen championships being traded across the promotions, whether it is TNA Wrestling and their world champion being won by Trick Williams, whether it's JC Jane winning the Knockouts title, Kaylani Jordan most recently winning the Knockouts title as well. A little bit of warfare there between both groups. It's something fresh. It's something unique, something we haven't seen for quite some time, seeing a partnership, let alone with the WWE, because these guys didn't really do business with anybody outside of their own brands, SmackDown, Raw, ECW, NXT, whatever the case may be. And now we get a little fresh take where it's like TNA Wrestling and WWE have embraced this partnership that allows for cross promotion, that allows for their talent to come and go on their weekly television shows as well as the premium live events. It became to the point where during the championship match, it was a winner take all this past week on NXT TV. The reigning and defending NXT champion Obafemi, well, at that point the reigning and defending, but we'll get to that in a second, was taking on Trick Williams, the TNA World Champion. And if you were a part of the streams, you guys already knew that my prediction was there would be a no contest. There would not be a definitive winner. There would be some sort of interference with the idea that we were going to have, some TNA stars jump in. Of course, it ended up being Mike Santana. I see you, Will. I appreciate you for stopping by and saying hello in the chat. Thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate all the support. Hopefully you have a great night. But thank you again. It would go to a no contest. Mike Santana would get involved, causing a DQ finish there. Trick Williams wins via DQ, so there was no championship changing hands. We saw that in the crowd, a bunch of TNA stars hit the scene. And as a result, the NXT locker room, empties out, and we have a full-on brawl. Mayhem across the arena. TNA, NXT, full-on invasion. And it begged the question, what are we leading to? We saw rumblings that there was a trademark for the invasion name, something that was used way back in 2001 when the Alliance, aka WCW and ECW, had teamed up to try to take down the WWF. So we thought maybe it's a PLE, maybe it's an NXT special. This past week, it was official. It was made official this past week as Ava, the general manager, Baby Rock if you will, announced that October 7th, NXT would hold its own special event called Invasion. And it's announced there will be two, not one, but two Survivor Series like tag team matches that will pit 5 men from NXT versus 5 men of TNA. And the same goes for the women's division. 5 from the women's division in NXT, 5 knockouts from TNA. And on top of that, it was also announced that we're going to be having the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, versus Dark State, the NXT Tag Team Champions. And we're going to get winner takes all. That, to me, is exciting. I cannot wait for this episode of NXT. This Tuesday, tomorrow, that episode of NXT will finally find out who will be a part of each team. But it's going to be jam-packed. It should be a tremendous show. finally, head-to-head NXT versus TNA. We've had the rumblings. We've had these matches between the stars. But now, full-on brand supremacy. Who is the better show? Who has the better roster? These questions we're hoping will be answered come October 7th. But the answers that we did receive this past weekend, of course, Friday, Victory Road, TNA's latest event. And on Saturday, NXT No Mercy with a surprise ending. A surprise for some people, not for yours truly, because I did predict it. But we're talking about TNA Victory Road first. It was announced on the show Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, would not be able to compete and unfortunately had to vacate the title as a result of not being cleared, not being medically cleared to compete. So they hold a battle royal to determine who will be competing for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Essentially, the final two participants, Lei Ying and Kalani Jordan, qualify for the matchup, and Kalani Jordan gets the victory and is the new TNA Knockouts champion. What I loved about that story in the matchup, Indy Hartwell, former NXT star, former NXT champion Indy Hartwell, is the current number one contender and was also the special guest referee for this matchup. And you can tell she was hesitant. She wasn't happy that she would be the one essentially awarding a TNA title to an NXT superstar. That level of pride that TNA has right now in its championships, because they know their men's world champion resides in the NXT locker room. They just got the TNA Knockouts title back. JC Jane was the champion. Ash by Elegance won the title in a triple threat match, and now it is back in the grasp of an NXT superstar. A little bit of animosity there, but now the stage is set. Now the stage is set for Bound for Glory. Kalani Jordan versus Indy Hartwell. TNA Knockout title on the line. That wasn't the only noteworthy thing that had transpired during Victory Road. We know that Myron Reed unsuccessfully challenged Slater for that TNA X Division Championship. Matt Hardy wins a tables match against AJ Francis. Joe Hendry also on the card, of course, naturally. Mike Santana gets a victory over Ridge Holland, and more, of course. But the real standout event, NXT No Mercy. NXT No Mercy that would have a decent showing, honestly. I was a big fan of the Javon Evans victory over Josh Briggs. I thought the weaponized steel cage match between Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace was a great showing by both women. I'm curious to see where we go in the direction for both individuals, because I don't see it moving any forward with those two. I think that story has come to a close. It's over. Now we go and move forward as to where Blake and Jordan will be going forward in their stories. The top three matches on the card, of course, were the Women's Championship, Lola Vice versus JC Jane. Lola Vice unsuccessful in her attempt to win the NXT Women's Championship on account of interference due to a hooded figure who we still don't know. I'm guessing we're going to see maybe on this NXT or the next NXT episode who was in that hood that cost Lola the match. I personally would have given it to Lola there, but I get it. Hey, you want the crowd to build anticipation. You want them to want it just a little bit more. Eventually, she will be a champion. She will be fine. But I am curious to see who is under that hood. Is it possibly Lainey Reed? Who was not, cleared to compete in the Speed Championship, but maybe was capable of attacking Lola Vice due to their exchange in the back prior to the women's title match. Also, the North American champion Ethan Page successfully defends his championship against Tavion Heights. I honestly don't think that was in any doubt. I thought he for sure was going to retain that title. All love to Tavion, but Ethan Page right now is on another level in NXT. Talking about another level on NXT, the world champion Obafemi, nearly unbeatable. This guy has been on such a dominant run as the NXT champion. It got to the point where I'm thinking, who is going to beat this guy? I really thought it was going to be Javon Evans. I thought there was a story there for that. Came up close, but no cigar. Javon Evans takes the fall. So we get to Ricky Starks here. The charisma, the athleticism, the look, everything I think that the WWE wants in a current star, Ricky possesses. And Ricky Starks had the game plan. I should say Ricky Saints. I'm not used to saying Saints yet. Ricky Saints had the game plan. Was thinking with his head. And tried taking off the head of Obafemi. DDT after DDT. A DDT onto the ground. A DDT through the table. A DDT in the ring again. And then a tilt-a-whirl DDT. I think it was 5 DDTs that he gave to Obafemi. A throwback to yesteryear when the DDT was a finish. And nowadays, it's just a transitional move. A move to get you to the next move. But Ricky surprised everybody. Except for me. I hate to be that guy, but I told you that Ricky would win the championship. Ricky Saints, new NXT champion. Super excited for him. Can't wait to see what's next for Ricky. Who will be his first challenger? Does Oba get a rematch? I think he's entitled to one. But I would not be surprised if Oba just quietly goes up to the main roster here. He's been ready for a minute now. The presentation, the athleticism. Just this guy is an anomaly. He's unlike anything we've seen in these recent years of NXT. Come to find out, he's not even an indie worker. He came in through the NIL, the list of athletes looking to transfer into the world of professional wrestling. And Obafemi, one of the elite athletes that has came through and has proven to be a potential superstar. Look at others, like a Tiffany Stratton, like a Bianca Belair. There's others also. Just the first ones that come to mind. But Obafemi, man, give the man a hand. Give him a round of applause. A dominant reign as NXT champion. Some would even argue a dominant reign as North American champion that surpassed the World Championship. But nonetheless, Obafemi had great matches against nearly everybody that was put in front of him. This kid has it. He has it. Is he going to move to the main roster? Or is he going to finish out some stories here, really tie up some loose ends on NXT? Some to keep an eye on. I think there's a chance he could be on the Survivor Series team, or rather the Invasion team for NXT. But I thoroughly enjoyed the matchup. That main event, stellar. Let's take a look at the chat here. I see the activity here. Muhammad, what's going on? Happy Monday. Glad you could be here, buddy. Thank you so much for stopping by. Tyler says, yo, I think NXT is better than Raw and SmackDown. Mark my words, it's true or false. I think it's much more cohesive. It's the pacing is better. The stories really move well. The matches aren't too long, aren't too short. There feels like a sense of direction with a lot of the men and women involved. I think Raw and SmackDown obviously have the bigger stars. I mean, I don't think that's an argument there. But in terms of the pacing of this show, I think you are correct there, Tyler. Muhammad says, I didn't see No Mercy, and No Mercy hasn't appeared in WWE since 2017. Well, NXT has been the home of No Mercy for quite some time now. I think this might have been like their third year in a row, NXT No Mercy. So although it hasn't been a main roster event, NXT has basically adopted it as its premium live event from like 2023, 2024, 2025. Muhammad says, I pray to God that Ash by Elegance is not fully... I don't think she's fully retired. I think, unfortunately, it's just a bump in the road for Ash. I think she'll be fine. She'll get back and recuperate, rest up, and before you know it, man, she'll be back in the title hunt. Roman Reigns is back. Yes, Tyler is alluding to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Raw had just transpired, and Roman Reigns makes his huge return. Again, another return for Roman Reigns. During that tornado tag matchup, the Usos versus The Vision. A fun, energetic matchup. It's exactly what I would have expected between the Usos, Braun and Bronson. But Roman Reigns comes out, obviously, with chair and hair, and I wanted to exact a little bit of revenge on the two individuals that really took him out not too long ago. Him standing side by side with Jey Uso as Jimmy looks on, and you kind of see this tension building between the Usos again. And Jey kind of taking after Roman as this authoritative, type of figure, and really wanted to just take authority over Jimmy, essentially. thinking that he's the one calling the shots, when in fact he's the younger brother. Let's not forget that. Maybe it's only by a few minutes, but still the younger brother. Muhammad says it's his yard now, the big dog. I mean, the big dog. I was never a big fan of the big dog. I'm gonna be honest with you. But the tribal chief, he runs the show for sure. Robert says Javon Evans, man, SmackDown debut. Shout out to Javon Evans having that back-to-back performance, a great matchup against Sami Zayn for the U.S. title, and then followed that up as the opener to NXT No Mercy against Josh Briggs. Good for him. I mean, Javon Evans, very young, but still so much potential is in store for Javon Evans. Has the charisma, has the fan support, certainly has the athleticism. I mean, you saw that dive onto Sami Zayn on Friday night. The boys are not going to know what to do with Javon Evans when he makes to the main roster. He needs a championship title run. I think in NXT, whether it's North American or NXT World, I think he needs a title run. Just to add a little bit of credibility to him. But I love what I see from Javon Evans, and I'm super excited for the potential that he has on the main roster. Tyler says, I think WWE should just keep away from Roman and Seth, because I think WWE needs more push Roman Reigns away from that storyline after Survivor Series. I'm done with this. I agree. So here's where I'll go with this, Tyler. I don't think Roman necessarily needs to be with Seth. He's got to tie up this loose end with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I do think, though, that there's a real possibility that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins takes place at WrestleMania. That we haven't seen Seth and Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania. The only roadblock here, I think, is Sami. Way back when, after WrestleMania 41, I said that Sami Zayn's going to win the Rumble. And I think he faces Seth Rollins. I still hold true to this. I think it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. If not that at WrestleMania, I do think Roman Reigns is a very strong possibility. So really, it's just a matter of which one is Seth facing. Because it's either going to be Sami and allow him this crowning achievement at WrestleMania, like they did with him at WrestleMania 40 by defeating Gunther. Or you have Roman versus Seth. Now, arguably, you could have that match at, say a Royal Rumble. I wouldn't, but you could. You could have that matchup at a SummerSlam. Would they stretch it out that long? I don't know. But I do think as of right now, Roman and Seth, I agree, should not interfere with one another. Hold that. Hold that for a major event like a WrestleMania, like a SummerSlam. But I do agree with you in that sentiment there, Tyler. Once again, I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the live stream. I want to give a quick plug here to our socials. Make sure you follow us at JAreaPod_ at Instagram, TikTok, and on X. That's at JAreaPod_. If you want to get more news, more access to the channel, you can also have that through the social media outlets. Also, make sure if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, that way you can stay up to date with all things pro wrestling, and as well to join in on these chats and on this discussion here on the live streams. The only way you guys can join in the chat is to make sure you're subscribed. What are you waiting for? Join the J Area. We're talking pro wrestling. We're talking Monday Night Raw, talking NXT, talking TNA, and pretty soon we're going to be talking about, AEW again, because Wrestle Dream just around the corner with their major event. Darby Allin's going to be taking on Jon Moxley in an I Quit match, so we will have that discussion on par. I do also want to give a quick reminder to everybody there. Thursday we will be going live a little bit earlier, a special start time. It'll be, going to be 4 hours earlier. So on the West Coast, it's a 4 p.m. start. Depending on where you are in the world, that might affect your time zone. Of course, I have the link to the live stream already up here on YouTube, so it should be able to give you your designated time depending on your time zone. But again, on Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, October 2nd, the live stream for Thursday will be starting 4 p.m. on the West Coast. So again, make sure you check that link to the live stream just to make sure where it is in terms of your time zones. I'm going to confess, I was never the best at time zone conversion, which is why I try to have these links up ahead of time. Make sure you have your notifications on, click that bell to be aware of when we go live here on YouTube. Once again, for people just joining us, we will be going live on Thursday, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Make sure you check the link or turn on your bell for notifications for when we go live here on YouTube. Muhammad asks, why is everyone having beef with Triple H? The booking, Muhammad, for the lack of a better explanations. People have been a little bit tired of his booking. They feel like he's playing it safe and isn't really getting creative and is getting complacent with the booking. My biggest complaint recently was the Brock Lesnar stuff. Him coming in, no explanation, attacks John Cena, and don't give me the whole like, well, it's his last time going to be able to face Cena. I understand that, but I need a little bit more. Because if that was the case, anybody could just come down and attack Cena for a last match. So Brock comes in, attacks Cena, gets a match, beats Cena, unequivocally beats Cena, and then moves on. And we're not even going to see him for a while. Reports are saying we're not going to see Brock for a minute here. So it's like this guy really just came out in the middle of that, being sued, essentially, that lawsuit, beat Cena clean, and then just leave. Come on, Hunter. Come on, really? Why even book the match? And now we're going to get AJ Styles versus John Cena at Crown Jewel. Super stoked about. But I feel like it's a consolation. It's like, oh, you didn't like Brock, but we're giving you this. And they're acting like the fans wanted this. Yes, the fans wanted it, but it's like, I don't know. Why did we wait this long? I'm just happy it's happening. I can't be too upset. The Brock stuff, can't change it. But now we get AJ versus Cena. Give them 30 minutes. Give those boys 30 minutes. AJ and Cena have a chance here to pull off a great matchup. And Cena is still capable of doing that. Had a great match against CM Punk at Night of Champions. Had a stellar match against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. His matchups with Logan Paul and Sami Zayn, top notch. So Cena is still more than capable of having these great matches. You put him in the ring with AJ Styles, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But that's for Crown Jewel. So we'll look forward to that. Tyler says, I think the WWE should push Jacob Fatu more. Stop putting in dark matches. I think he should stay in MLW. That's my opinion. Well, I mean, he's already signed with the WWE. So, I mean, he's not going anywhere. Good for him. Get your money, Jacob. But I do want to see more of a push for him. This feud against Drew McIntyre hopefully does well for him. I'm intrigued. It's something fresh. It's something new. In fact, it won the promo of the week. The gift, the gab this past week was the Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Because it got me excited. Seeing these two combatants talking trash, and it gets me going. I'm like, okay, cool. Something new that we haven't seen. Jacob versus Drew. So looking forward to that. Dion says, Jose, we need some WWE games on the live stream. It has been a minute, hasn't it, Dion? That'd be cool. Sure. I'm down for it. Especially if I can get Sanfran on stream, him and I together, I'm super down. What's up with Roman not acknowledging Jimmy? Roman Reigns is fully locked in on Jay because he believes that that's his successor. He believes that is going to be the next tribal chief. This was the story that was in place back in 2020 when the tribal chief era had just begun. Jay was the right-hand man and was in line to become the next tribal chief before Solo. It was supposed to be Jey Uso. Unfortunately for Jimmy, that leads him as the third wheel, the third man out there. But yeah, he's locked in on Jay. He sees all the potential in him. He's won a world championship via a Royal Rumble victory. So it's like he has that pedigree. He has the accolades. He certainly has the potential to do so. So Roman hitching his wagon to his cousin Jey Uso. Dude B says, some say the bigger wrestler in size wins, then why all giants win every time? Why not, I mean? It's the story. It's all for the narrative. David versus Goliath was one of the earliest type of stories to be told of the giants being slain. Dion says that's because they wasted Cena's TV appearances. Some of them wasn't needed and should have been booked for more build with Punk and Orton. You know, that's another thing too when it comes to the Cena appearances. Some of them I just feel like have been wasted. You know, some of them you could do a lot more with. I'm surprised. I knew they weren't going to have so many matches on TV because they wanted to build the PLEs and they wanted to avoid the risk of injury. Totally get that. Totally fine. But I still feel like there was empty calories there when it came to John Cena's TV appearances. Dion says that stuff with Logan and R-Truth and even Brock was trash aside from the one-on-one with Logan. I'll give you that. Everything with Logan Paul I think was forgettable until you get to the match. Him versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris, surprisingly good. I actually enjoyed that matchup. The R-Truth stuff, I think there was so much potential with it. The build-up was great. The match was, it was okay. It wasn't a great match, but it wasn't bad either. Again, just in the grand scheme of things, that R-Truth stuff is going to feel like a fever dream. And then Brock, I mean, I don't need to talk about that anymore. I've already expressed my opinions on that. I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't like the call. The match was fine. I definitely would not have had Lesnar going over, but then again, I wouldn't have had the match in the first place. Sir Robert says, Tyler, I agree. I wouldn't let Jacob Fatu talk. Have Heyman manage him and present the most dangerous man. But in contrast, if you really get Jacob going, he could cut a decent promo. He got the "yeah, did I mean?" He got that over. So, but maybe less is more. Don't have him talk so much. So less is more. No Solo versus Jacob Fatu, please no more. I agree. I think the Solo and Jacob Fatu stuff is, I think it's over for now. Jacob looks like he's going to be setting his eyes on Drew McIntyre. Bro, some were saying Boogeyman was scary. He was a clown, bro. I mean, hey, as a kid, I was like 7 years old when the Boogeyman came out, and he was a little freaky. So as a kid, you can't fault me for thinking he was a little creepy. But I look back with nostalgia and I see Boogeyman now, and I'm like, shout out to Boogeyman. The word committed comes to the mind when I see the Boogeyman because he really commits to the role. Whether it's the shakes, the worms, the whole makeup and the getup, but he just committed. I loved it. Once again, I want to remind everybody that we're going to go live on Thursday at an earlier start time, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. But it's a 4-hour difference based off what we usually do. Make sure you check the link to the live stream or turn on your notification bells for the updates of when we go live. Make sure you stay to the end of the live stream because I have a special announcement regarding that live stream. We have a topic on hand. It's very topical given what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this next stream on Thursday. So if you want to know what the topic of Thursday's live stream is and what we'll be discussing on Thursday, make sure you stick to the end. That way you'll know exactly what I have in store. I'm looking forward to it. Let's just say it's a little bit of a fantasy booking. We'll call it that. Charmaine sold it. Tyler says, I'm feeling like Jacob Fatu needs a hype man or something. I remember that he was in MLW, and he has a manager, best faction in MLW history, and he is one of the best champions in MLW history. You know what the issue with that is, Tyler? They put him in the bloodline, with Solo, the Tongans, and Paul Heyman, who was very reluctantly a member of that. They had him in a group. In one of the more popular groups. I know the Bloodline 2.0 wasn't a big hit with a lot of people, but that was the point. They were heels. We're not supposed to like them. He outgrew them all. And upon first appearance, he was already outshining them. So it's a catch-22. It's a double-edged sword. You can't win in this case. Because if we were to keep him in that group, fans were already clamoring, free Jacob Fatu, he's a star. Don't hold him back. And now, for other people, who want to say that he should be with a hype man or he should be in a group. It goes back on what had just happened. He was in a group. It was his time to break away. Now, for him to have a hype man like a manager, I'll concede to that. Why not? But again, who would be in that position right now in terms of the logical booking of the show? I do think that less is more when it comes to speaking. Maybe Jacob Fatu doesn't have to cut a promo all the time. Maybe he only speaks when it's really warranted. But I'm not disagreeing with you. Taker and Kane were stylish, awesome gimmicks. I agree. Except when Kane came back with like the corporate Kane stuff, I despise that Kane. I do not count that as canon, to tell you the truth. Dude B says Fatu is average. I disagree. I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree there, buddy. You tell me how many big men like a Jacob Fatu can hit a double springboard moonsault like him. Tyler hits it right on the head here. Tyler says, please WWE give us Oba versus Jacob Fatu. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big fan of this matchup. Give these guys all the time they need. Book it as a proper Godzilla versus King Kong matchup. This is a kaiju fight happening in the middle of New York City where the destruction awaits. I would love to see these two just go to town on each other. No holds barred, steel cage, something to add to this. It could not be a standard one. Last man standing, I think, would work really well for this matchup. No one has to get pinned. No one has to submit. It is a battle of attrition. It is a battle of who can outlast the other. Obafemi, Jacob Fatu, sign me up. Sign me up. I love it. That's a matchup for sure. Shout out to Tyler there for that suggestion. Speaking of mayhem and action, I do also want to give a quick plug here as well. This upcoming, the Wednesday, October 1st, we'll have an exclusive video up for our members only. If you are a member of the membership here, the Main Event Mafia, you get access to exclusive content like posts, polls, and of course videos. We have our latest exclusive video coming up this Wednesday, giving you a sneak peek of what to expect this month on the channel. The month of October, I have a few things planned that I'm really looking forward to. It's the month of Halloween, my second favorite holiday of the year. So tune in for October 1st's membership exclusive video. You have to be a member of the Main Event Mafia in order to gain access to that and get a little sneak peek as to what we're going to do in October. In the video, I'm going to share our latest upload. It'll be October 15th. That's as much as I'm going to give you. But our next upload here on the channel, as well as future live stream topics and a little surprise for Halloween that I'm looking much forward to. So if you want to know what's going on in the channel, what to expect in the month of October, make sure you consider becoming a Main Event Mafia member. That way you get exclusive content like the video, like the shorts, like the polls, and even have your username light up in the chat with a championship icon next to your name as well. Muhammad says, I can't believe we're already almost in October. It's ridiculous. The year's going by way too quick. Way too quick. We're already going to hit October. Muhammad said, I really hope that October goes slow. You know what? I'm going to agree with you there, Muhammad, because for me, I'm a big horror fan. I love scary movies. If you guys have been on this channel long enough, you would know that before this was a pro wrestling channel, it was actually a channel discussing movies. Big movie buff myself, and I love scary movies. So in the month of October, it is the great opportunity to rewatch some of my favorite horror movies as well as other things Halloween related. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. Are you a fan of horror movies? Are you a fan of scary movies? If you are, share them in the chat below as to what are your favorite scary movies, and even if go so far as to say why. I'm very curious, of course. I would love to hear that and see where you guys lie up in the fans of horror. They do say that horror and pro wrestling, the fans tend to blend in with one another. If you are a fan of horror, odds are you're aware of pro wrestling. If you're a fan of pro wrestling, you might be a fan of horror. So it's always interesting to see where it intersects. So I'm a big fan of both. I would love to hear from you guys. If you're a fan of Halloween, what are some of your favorite candy, favorite costumes that you had as Halloween? Drop them in the chat below. Love to get from you guys some of those. Tyler says, I think Jacob Fatu, he's better in MLW than WWE. Not gonna argue. Although I think he's in better shape now. I think he's dangerous in WWE, and I'm feeling he's to prove it in the ring and everything. He's a monster. He got in better shape. That's how you knew that he was invested in this, because obviously, in the world of pro wrestling, it's very much appearance. You want to look the best. You want to be able to seem athletic and carry yourself as a superstar, but also athletically being able to do the moves that people are expecting. And I think he certainly has proven to be a hot commodity in the WWE, a great signing for them as well. Any plans for you working with other content creators? I mean, I don't have anything concrete planned with anybody. I'm still very much a small YouTube channel, so I could not tell you yes that I'd be working with any other content creators. I would be open to it. If the opportunity presented itself, I would be very much open to it in creating other content with others and just working on a collaboration. I'd be open to it. So Robert says, other than ESPN saying that WrestlePalooza was a C, have they released any numbers on views? Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen anything in regards of viewership or even how it has affected the subscriber count to ESPN, the app. I haven't seen anything like that. But the show, for better or for worse, was mid. I won't even lie to you there. In the past, it has been said that maybe I favor WWE more than any other promotion. To be fair, I grew up watching it, so I'm very knowledgeable about it because it's all I would watch. But I will say, if a show is not good, I'm gonna say it. And WrestlePalooza, I said, aside from the mixed tag match and Stephanie Vaquer versus Io, all the other stuff you could honestly skip. Cody versus Drew wasn't anything eventful, and I love Cody and Drew, but the match was what it was. The tag team match between the Usos and the Vision, the only thing that really gets remembered of that match was the fact that Jey Uso split his own head open. Brock and Cena, I wasn't really too crazy about either. So it really just came down to the World Championship for the women and the mixed tag match. I do think, though, you can tell it was a deliberate plan for them to increase the viewership and the subscribers of ESPN for the way they booked it. Having Brock Lesnar come back to face John Cena, two huge names in the business. AJ Lee makes her huge return 10 years after retiring. Cody Rhodes comes back, defends his championship against one of the MVPs of 2024, Drew McIntyre. So you could tell. And the Usos returning as a tag team for the first time in a couple of years. You could tell, top to bottom, they were really pushing hard for that event to do numbers. And it did. I thought it did. It carried out what was expected, and that was to build anticipation, garner interest. But upon the show, the execution wasn't it. Some of the matches just didn't perform well, with the exception of the two that I previously mentioned. But I have not seen what the viewers or the viewership was for it. Dion says they need more talent on TV, like WWE doesn't have a billion main rosters. I think it's all about being able to showcase your stars and putting them in a position to succeed. The blatant example I have here was Io Sky. When Io Sky was the women's world champion, rarely was on TV and rarely fought. Didn't even defend the title with the exception of maybe 2 title defenses. You got to put your stars in a position to succeed, and for them to be in a position to succeed, you got to put them on TV. You got to make sure the crowd is still invested in them, and they kind of rely on the same people, which is fine because those are your stars. But when you have stars in an athletic sense, like a Dragon Lee, like a Finn Balor, guys like that, why aren't we using them? more consistently? Why aren't we presenting them as the stars that they are? Dragon Lee just became the number one contender in AAA for the Mega Championship. And the matches that he's putting on in AAA are almost night and day compared to the way he wrestles in WWE. Also, for a company that is worth billions of dollars, did you guys catch Monday Night Raw today where there was no pyro for like Cody or AJ Styles? I think didn't get any pyro either. But the Cody Rhodes one was so glaringly apparent. This is a billion-dollar corporation. Could they not afford it? Did they forget it? Was it a botch? Did the arena not support pyrotechnics inside? It was just awkward. It was weird. You know, it felt weird. Dion says that tired of rerun matches and watch out for Io to turn heel at War Games. I don't say that. I want to see Io as a babyface still. But I do agree with you. They run back a lot of matches. The Vision and the Usos have been a clear example of that. Or like the LA Knight stuff. Thankfully, LA Knight kind of got mixed up with Kofi Kingston tonight, so that was something fresh. But I do agree there's a lot of reruns when it comes to the matches. Dion says Naomi is away right now. Liv is still out. They need a top female heel aside from the Judgment Day, and Ivy Nile hasn't been on TV, so I can see it. Their women's roster right now, for all the star power, it's a little inconsistent in the booking. We've been too reliant on like a Rhea Ripley for a long time, and I love Rhea. But there are other stars that could be getting an opportunity here, for sure. Same thing goes for SmackDown. The SmackDown Women's Championship title picture right now is so frustrating. Because I feel like all we ever see Tiffany face is Nia or Jade. And speaking of which, did you guys see the Jade Cargill spot on SmackDown? That's, dude. I don't want to blame Nia, but it's a common denominator with her. All these women are getting hurt when they're with Nia Jax. She throws her into the steel steps, and we see a little bit of color from Jade. Okay, nothing crazy. But then there's that spot where she looks directly into the camera, and you see all the blood coming down, and it's like, whoa, like she's bleeding, you know? And then you see the aftermath online, and the huge gash that Jade Cargill has. Good God Almighty. Wow. What? That's going to scar. It's going to look pretty cool as a scar. But man. And then on top of that, the botch at the end of the night. The matchup, obviously, it breaks down, and Tiffany Stratton breaks up a pinfall for Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. And the referee counts 1, 2. Nia does not kick out, but the referee pulls her hand and pretends it was a kick out, and Nia's looking at the referee like, what's going on? So I don't know what was there. Initially, I thought it was Nia Jax, but upon further review, maybe miscommunication between the referee there as well. They go for the PME, the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3, Tiffany beats Nia. The matchup I thought was good up until the last couple of minutes. I mean, it was very, very noticeable, the botches that had taken place during that match. I think the gash on Jade was just gnarly. Made for a great moment, though, on TV. When she looks into the camera and gets in the camera's face, that could be her Becky Lynch moment. You know, with all the blood. Yeah, that could be replayed on promo packages for Jade, but wow. Tyler says, I think it's a botch. I thought it was a botch too, the Cody Rhodes stuff, this pyro. But then once we got to AJ, and AJ didn't have pyro either. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm thinking it's just they didn't have pyro. Because it's one thing to be a botch for Cody, but then for AJ as well, I don't know. Robert says, WWE needs to make us like Io and Steph. I've never heard them talk. They do talk. They cut promos all the time. Ryan Armstrong. Okay. Ryan Armstrong goes back to the horror movies. Okay, cool. It says River of Darkness starring Kurt Angle, See No Evil, and the sequel as well starring Kane. shout out. Um, Death Rumble is a 2023 horror thriller directed by Rusty Nixon, in which 6 wrestlers on tour are forced to fight for their lives as entertainment for the bloodthirsty residents of the strange town. That's interesting, actually. Death Rumble sounds pretty interesting. But I have seen See No Evil. I have not seen A River of Darkness, though. Shout out to Ryan Armstrong there for the movie references and the recommendations. Thank you. I already talked about Jade. I gotta watch that match. I've been missing a lot of wrestling thus far due to my schedule. It's tough, man. It's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. YouTube is your best friend, though, to be able to find those highlights. But again, the match was okay. It's those last 2 minutes, man, that was just botch heavy. So Robert says Nia Jax is kin to The Rock. She is good. Who cares if she's dangerous and careless? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Nepotism can only get you so far. And I'm not going to go so far to say that she's a Nepo baby. But, you know, when you're a part of the bloodline, it does help. I just don't know what happened. She was doing so good. This run for Nia was vastly an improvement in comparison to her first run in the company. And it's just somewhere along the line, and she reverted back to the old Nia. Ryan was live and in person watching SmackDown at the Kia Center in Orlando. The dark matches after SmackDown was Io defeating Roxanne and Bronson Reed defeating LA. Pretty good. Sanford says I've seen Ready to Rumble. Ready to Rumble, man, a classic. Honestly, a bad movie, but it's one of those movies where it's like a guilty pleasure. It's so bad, I have fun with it. David Arquette in that movie is just so over the top, man. Dion asks, where's Gunther? As far as we know, Gunther is still nursing that injury of the orbital bone. He hasn't been seen since SummerSlam in the beginning of August. I would not be surprised if we just held Gunther until the Rumble. Or Rumble season. Would he win the Rumble? I still think it's Sami Zayn's Royal Rumble to win. But Gunther, I think they're going to hold off until WrestleMania season for him. Still nursing that wound of his orbital bone. San Francisco just wanted to make a cameo in the chat. Gotta go. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother, for being here in the chat. But yeah, again, we have our membership exclusive video coming up this Wednesday, October 1st. Every first of the month, I'm planning on doing an exclusive video for members only. So if you want to be able to have access to those exclusive only videos, make sure you become a member to the channel. It's a great way to help support the channel as well as helping it grow as a community and continuing to improve what is transpiring here on YouTube. So please consider becoming a member of the Main Event Mafia. Also, stay tuned for Thursday's live stream. It'll be at 4 o'clock p.m. on the West Coast. The link is already up on YouTube. It's an earlier start time for a live stream. We're going to see how that goes. And I will be releasing, I guess, the information as to what that live stream will entail. I'm looking forward to it. It's something that I've been thinking about doing for like a video, but I thought, you know what, given what's going on currently in wrestling, it'd be a fun interactive video with you guys here on live. Dion says Ilya Dragunov should be coming back soon too. I love it, man. He's a demon. Can't wait for Ilya to come back. Ryan says Gunther could return at the Rumble in Saudi next year. I think that's very much a possibility, Ryan. I think you and I think very much alike in the sense that he probably will return at the Rumble. You don't have to have him return in December. There's no point of doing that. Have him return at the Rumble, start his WrestleMania feud for whichever feud it's going to be. I think that's what they do. So Robert says Terrifier 2 and 3 movies. Jericho's in it. That's right. I've only seen the first 2. I have not seen Terrifier 3 yet. Maybe I'll check it out for this Halloween season. Nia Jax is dangerous, but Brock is not. Brock's a professional, in terms of the ring. I feel like he knows what he's doing for the most part. Just don't ask him to do a shooting star press from the top rope. We got about another 10 minutes here on stream, giving you guys an opportunity here to ask your questions, share your comments in the discussion here for Pro Wrestling Talk, J Aerial Wrestling. Thank you guys again for choosing to spend your night with us here, hanging out, talking about pro wrestling. I do want to share, though, for those of you that have been here for the entirety of the live stream, I did talk about it earlier and said, hey, wait till the end so I can tell you guys what's Thursdays. Thursday, October 2nd at 4 o'clock p.m. on the West Coast. Check the link, check your notification bell for when that live goes up. We're going to be talking about total nonstop action and the WWE. Right now, the WWE's developmental brand, NXT, is embroiled in a feud, in an invasion angle with TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling has been around since 2002. At one point, it was considered the second biggest promotion in North America up until the arrival of AEW. And the question for me has always been, who would win in these dream matches? Yes, TNA is invading NXT right now, but I'm talking about all time. TNA has had legends like Sting, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. I could keep going on and on. What would it have been like to see them go up against some of the best in WWE? John Cena, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, people like that. So this upcoming Thursday, I'm going to be sharing how I would book an Invasion pay-per-view. TNA Legends versus WWE Legends. One night only. What would the card look like? Who would be the winner? And why would I have them as the victor? So this upcoming Thursday, join us for our Thursday live stream where I share my own dream card for TNA versus WWE Invasion, an all-time event that will have legends from the past, the present, and potentially of the future as well. It will not just be relegated to today's roster. I want to make that very clear. This is going to be all-time legends. So you're going to see stars from way back when. You're going to see some stars maybe from today as well. Looking forward to it. I already have several matches in mind when I'm building this card. I'm also going to show you guys top to bottom what would be the opener, what would be the main event, how I would schedule each matchup. I'm looking forward to it, and it's something I want to incorporate more on the channel here, and that's fantasy booking. Giving you guys a little peek inside the mind of a wrestling fan that's been watching it for 25 years. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys would enjoy it. Check it out Thursday, again, this upcoming Thursday, October 2nd, 4 o'clock p.m. on the West Coast. Make sure you have your notifications on and click that bell to be notified when we go live here on YouTube. Dude B says, Gunther's reigns are bad in my opinion. I will say the world title one wasn't as good as his Intercontinental. I'll give you that one. His IC title reign was way better. I think, Dion says, that Seth's I gotta beat him comment leads to Punk. I just got a feeling to Seth maybe making that comment about Cody. And the Shadows definitely didn't say any names. Which, well, that's interesting. I didn't consider this, Dion, because obviously this is just happening after his segment with Cody. So immediately we're thinking, he has to beat Cody. I'm thinking that he's never beaten Cody. But that is a good point, though, with the whole Punk. I like where your head's at. I'm going to reserve the right to believe that it is Cody. However, I will go and put a bookmark there in my mind that we still can't forget about CM Punk. Dion says definitely looking into subliminals. Love it. The little details. Nothing should go unnoticed. You gotta make sure you keep up with the little details. I love it. Ryan says Cena versus AJ at Crown Jewel. I'm so excited for that. Give them 30 minutes. Oh my god, I can't wait. That to me is the match I'm looking forward to the most. Now, of course, Cody versus Seth, I think is going to be a banger. I think Stephanie versus Tiffany is going to be good. But that AJ Styles versus John Cena match, man, that's why I love pro wrestling. Ooh, I can't wait. Ooh-wee, I can't wait. Ryan, I already read that. Dion says AJ versus Benoit would cook. Oh, man. Can you imagine? Especially if it was like X Division AJ versus Benoit from like 03, 05, like that. Oh, man, that would have been great. Dion says Chris Benoit, top 5 in ring wrestler all time. I don't care what anybody says. You can make that argument. I wouldn't be mad. Of course, it's very difficult talking about Chris Benoit because we know how the tragedy occurred. But again, if we're just going objectively, just in ring work, yeah, you'd be very hard pressed to not find somebody better than Benoit. This guy was an all timer. Robert says AJ versus Perfect. Oh, you know what? And that's a good one. I never considered that because obviously Mr. Perfect was before that. I will say, for the sake of clarification, I'm looking at WWE legends from like the TNA tenure. So TNA started in 2002. I'm really going to be doing WWE from like Ruthless Aggression era on. So you're not going to see Golden Era or New Generation era like that. It would just be like, in a nutshell, TNA to me, when I was really into it, was like '07 to 2010. So that's really like the roster we're looking at. Reese says, "What's up, Jose? What's going on? That Jaguars coach don't want the smoke from Robert Saleh." Dude, Reese. It was sad, man. It was a sad afternoon in the Ramos household for that Niner game, man. 4 turnovers. Yeah. And what's amazing is we had 4 turnovers, a lot of issues on special teams. We can't run the football, drop passes, and we still only lost in a single possession game. It's a game we could have won still, man. But we didn't. We got to move forward. We got the Rams this upcoming Thursday. That might give you a reason why I'm going a little early on Thursday. So we'll see how that game turns out. We're still first in the division, and we get a victory over the Rams, and we maintain our lead. So Dion says we need to start guessing the time of matches for the strap for Thursdays leading into PLEs. I see what you mean. It took me a second there, Dion, but I got you. But like I said, you guys direct the streams. I like having that first 20 minutes of the stream to kind of just talk about the topic at hand, whatever's going on in wrestling, and then the rest of the time's up to you guys. But yeah, I'm looking very much forward to it. I agree with you, Mohammed. I agree. I'm very much looking forward to Thursdays. Like I said, I already have several matches already in mind of what I would want to put on this invasion card. Again, for the final couple minutes here, I'm just going to plug. We got the social media. Make sure you guys follow us at JAreaPod_ on Instagram, TikTok, and X. That's at JAreaPod_. Also, be on the lookout. We're going to have that new membership exclusive video October 1st. Every first of the month, I'm looking to upload a membership exclusive video for you guys. So if you want access to those videos, as well as a little heads up as to what the month's action will contain, become a member, have access to those exclusive videos, polls, and posts. Thursday, again, reminder, will be an earlier stream. It'll be 4 p.m. on the West Coast here in North America. Check your link to the live stream here on YouTube. It's already up. The link to the live stream is already up, so it should be able to tell you what time it will start in your location. Otherwise, make sure you press the bell for notifications to be up to date as to when we go live here on YouTube. I see Sir Robert says Curryman versus Doink. I know it's a legend. That's hilarious. Shout out to Curryman, man. Appreciate you, Dion. Says peace and love, family. I'm out. Everybody have a victorious week. All love, Dion. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and continuing to show up for these live streams. These live streams really are a great opportunity for me to really have a conversation with you guys and get on the same page as to what we all like, what we don't like, and what you guys expect from this channel. I try to be very receptive to all the feedback you guys give because I would love this channel to continue growing. We just recently hit 9,000 subs here on YouTube, with the goal of 10,000 still very much in mind. We want to get to 10,000. Whoa, we want to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. It's looking so much more apparent that that's going to happen, maybe even before the holidays. And I want to thank you guys for all the love and all the support that you've sent our way. I hope, I sincerely hope that we can build this channel to something big and continuing to invite more people, more pro wrestling fans, whether they're relapse pro wrestling fans, whether they're new, old, young, men, women, and everything in between. I want to invite as many people here into the conversation. And so far, we've done a great job in doing so, and especially in being respectful and inclusive to everybody. We haven't had any real issues here on stream in regards to trolls and stuff like that. So that's a testament to you guys and your love and support, not only for pro wrestling, but for the channel itself. I want to thank you guys for choosing to spend your time. I appreciate. I see it. Ryan says, do not forget the thumbs up on the way out. I love it. Thank you so much, Ryan. If you guys enjoy any of the videos, any of the live streams, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Also, comment in the comments below what are some of your favorite aspects of the show, what you would love to see here on YouTube, what are some of your favorite pro wrestlers. I've always loved to hear what your favorite wrestlers or matches are. It's always a great discussion to see, where our love of it all comes from. So, once again, I want to thank you guys for choosing to spend your time here with us on stream. Look forward to Thursday's live stream. Again, make sure you turn those notification bells on to be aware when it goes live so you and I can talk about TNA versus WWE, our Invasion Dream card. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And with that being said, all love. Everyone, have a great night. Have a great week. Everyone stay safe. And I hope you stay cool until the next live stream. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. All love.